October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so we continue to share information you need to know about symptoms and treatment. Understand this: as part of the GIS family, you'll never fight alone. Our aim is to keep up-to-date information at your fingertips so you can take the necessary action. Hi there, I'm Adrian Atkins and welcome to Jamaica Magazine. Stick with us as we guide you to better health.
The JIS Heritage Competition is celebrating 10 years of youth expression on Jamaican history, culture, and tradition. If you're a primary level student 9 to 12 years old, enter the essay competition. Write 400 to 500 words on the topic. I promise to stand up for justice, brotherhood, and peace. Identify a Jamaican from our past or an institution that exemplifies this statement from our national pledge and say why. Secondary level students, enter the poster competition. And tertiary students, send us your best snap for the photo competition. The topic: I promise to stand up for justice, brotherhood, and peace. Enter now and play your part in preserving our national heritage. Great prizes to be won. For competition rules and guidelines, contact the JIS.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, October 28. Government will be reallocating funds from each ministry to address the at least $2 billion of damage to the country's road networks caused by heavy rains associated with Tropical Storm Zeta. Prime Minister Andrew Holness told Parliament on Tuesday that this would have to be the approach as government had no additional funding to allocate.
This is now about each ministry, each minister, each permanent secretary going through their budget line item by line item to see what it is that we can reallocate. And this will be supervised, obviously, by the Ministry of Finance.
The Prime Minister says the $2 billion preliminary estimate will likely increase as the National Works Agency has not been able to access all affected communities to finalize its report. In addition to the impact on roads maintained by the NWA, Mr. Holness says about 60% of parochial roads were affected, with preliminary estimates indicating damage in excess of $700 million.
Based on the extent of damage and the cost, all the required works cannot be immediately done. Accordingly, the government is proposing a program of targeted interventions with a priority ranking. The
Prime Minister says priority will first be placed on clearing blocked roads, cleaning heavily silted drains, and patching main thoroughfares. This will be supported by an earlier start to the annual mitigation program, which usually coincides with the Christmas period and covers debushing, drain cleaning, and patching of roads across all 63 constituencies. Meanwhile, each constituency will be given $1.5 million to assist with repairs to housing infrastructure damaged during the recent flood rains. During Tuesday's sitting of the House of Representatives, Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced that this money would come from the Housing Fund. In addition, he said each constituency would receive another $1.5 million from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security to provide rehabilitation grants for the neediest cases.
In effect, constituencies will have $3 million early response fund, which you should consider this as part of the cyclical mitigation program. It's just that you are getting it a little bit earlier.
Minister of Housing, Urban Renewal, Environment and Climate Change, Pernell Charles Jr., has tabled a policy paper in Parliament designed to improve citizens' access to public beaches. The Beach Access and Management Policy for Jamaica lays out protocols to increase public access to the foreshore of beaches, that is, the wet sand or gravel area of land adjacent to the sea, which lies between the ordinary high and low water marks. The rights of the public to walk along the foreshore and to bathe in the sea are to be provided through an amendment to the Beach Control Act. The policy also seeks to improve the standard of the beaches available to Jamaicans and address public concern about the loss of visual access to the sea and coastline. Proposals include prohibiting the sale of public beaches unless approved by Cabinet and measures to preserve the traditional rights of fishermen to access the foreshore and the floor of the sea, as well as beaching rights on their return from sea. It is also proposed that, prior to the lease of Crown or government beach properties to commercial interests, consultations should be held by the National Resources Conservation Authority, NRCA. These consultations would include representatives of the communities and other interested stakeholders. Subsequent to the tabling of the draft policy as a green paper in Parliament, public consultations will commence. The revised policy will then be submitted to Cabinet for approval and tabled in the House as a white paper. According to the policy paper of Jamaica's 795-kilometer coastline, approximately 4.5 kilometers are designated as public beaches and another 2.88 kilometers are used in association with hotels. 45% of the coastline is characterized as sandy beaches, while 35% is rocky or pebble shore. The tourism product development company TPDCO has donated a box truck to Recycling Partners of Jamaica (RPJ). The truck will allow more efficient collection of plastic items and other pollutants in the resort town of Negril. TPDCO and its sister agency, the Tourism Enhancement Fund, financed the truck's acquisition at a cost of approximately $7 million. Minister of Housing, Urban Renewal, Environment and Climate Change, Pernell Charles Jr., says it is evidence of government's commitment to the environmental protection agenda.
I look forward to what is going to be a challenging but very exciting opportunity for us to change the trajectory of how Jamaica sees environmental protection. That's not an isolated issue, but as an issue for everybody to participate in.
He was speaking at the recent handing over ceremony at Recycling Partners Lake Spend Depot in St. Catherine. RPJ is a registered charity and the designated national recycling entity mandated to remove plastic bottles from the environment and to divert these from landfills through engagement with various stakeholders. And finally, the Black River Hospital is set to receive additional incubators for the pediatric ward and other equipment to improve maternal care at the facility. The commitment was made by State Minister of Health and Wellness Juliet Cuthbert Flynn during a tour of the Type C hospital last Friday. She said the pediatric ward was in need of more incubators for premature babies and the ministry would be working to address that. The State Minister also encouraged the staff at the hospital and other health facilities across the island to continue the great work of serving the country's healthcare needs. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Cancer, stress, high blood pressure. Guard yourself against these potentially deadly conditions by eating healthy. Give your body long life with foods such as low-fat milk, dried and fresh peas and beans, unsalted nuts and seeds, fresh vegetables, fruits and coconut water, and eliminate processed seasonings such as seasoning salt, soy sauces, and ketchup. When it comes to meats, remember to remove the skin to reduce the intake of fats and oils. Meats should also be baked, steamed, grilled, or roasted. Fish is also a preferred protein option. To eat healthy, fill your body with a variety of foods from all the food groups. And remember, eat at a slow pace and in small bites to help aid digestion. This helps to maintain a healthy, balanced, and nutritious diet, strengthening your body to ward off illness and prolong life.
Hearing the stories of others with similar experiences almost always give us the impetus to go on. We listened in on a conversation between one woman diagnosed with breast cancer and another in remission as they shared their journey. Here's more.
For many, it starts with a little itch on the breast, a lump in the area perhaps, a bit of redness on the nipple, or even nipple discharge. And you know it's not breast milk. Besides, you're no mother, neither are you pregnant. Research shows that breast cancer remains the leading cause of cancer-related death among Jamaican women and is the most common cancer among women worldwide. And even with increased screenings and public education, it still remains a major health challenge. Two women, Kamala McWhinney and Kadia McCoy, both share a similar story. For them, the common denominator is breast cancer. Kamala is in remission and Kadia is undergoing treatment. They now meet for the very first time to have a conversation about their mutual foe.
So Kadia, tell me when and how you found out that you have breast cancer.
Oh boy, well, it was in April. I remember I was in the shower and I felt a lump, but it was huge, so I wasn't thinking it was anything because I'm always doing my self-examination. And when I felt the lump, I said, maybe it's just premenstrual syndrome. So I remember after a shower, I went to my husband and I said, feel this, it's a lump and it's huge. And he said to me, maybe it's, premenstrual syndrome. So when my menstruation came, I realized the lump went away, and then in May, it came back, and it came back sooner than the time I had felt it in April. So I said, no, I need to go to the doctor and check this out. So it was the week after my 31st birthday. So I went to the doctor and she was like, okay, let me see what the girl's up to, and she examined the right breast and she said, okay, I'm going to let you do a mammogram and an ultrasound. But she was like, oh, they're just going to aspirate, it is just fluids. And when I went to do the mammogram and the ultrasound, the doctor said to me, she said, she said to me, this is not something that we're going to aspirate. You have to do a biopsy. And right away I said, are you serious? And she said, whatever it is, you're going to be okay. And when I did a surgical biopsy on a Monday, and I waited on the result for about 3 weeks, and my doctor messaged me and said to me that I have the results and it's not good. What was your experience like?
So interestingly, I was 30.
Wow.
So I was a little bit younger than you. And
Right.
I was having a persistent itching in my left breast. And I was
Right.
wondering what's causing this. Is it my detergent? Is it my fabric softener? What's causing this thing to be itching so much? So one day I was just at home after work on the couch watching TV, and I was scratching the itch. And I
Right.
felt something in my left breast, and I said, but it's not in the right breast. So then
Wow.
I was like, this needs to get checked out. So it took me a while because I was just in shock, like, what could this possibly be? So maybe about 10 days or so after, I worked up the courage, made the appointment, and went to the doctor. And then from that now, my GP said to me, go and get an ultrasound done. Got the ultrasound, and the results said that there's a mass in the left breast that is strongly suspicious of malignancy.
Wow. Yeah.
And then from there I did a biopsy, and it was October 18th that I got back the results in 2013 that it was in fact breast cancer.
Wow. What was it like when you found out? What?
So I was alone in the doctor's office because I was living out of town at the time.
Okay.
And my doctor said to me, I've never seen anybody take it quite like you, because I wasn't crying, I was asking questions, I was seeking
Okay.
information. And then
Yeah.
the very next day my mom came down and she was by my side for the whole journey. So of course the emotions hit me when I left the doctor's office, and I know I had to call her because I knew
Right.
she was going to be devastated, and that's what made me start crying.
Wow. Yeah. Yes, it can be quite overwhelming. I can really relate to that. It was hard. It's like your life changes completely. My life has now become about doctor visits, Everything is about, going to the doctor maybe once per week. It has changed completely. It makes me realize how precious, life is. It's delicate. Don't stress too much on the small things. Everything you'll manage to be where you are now, like this.
Actually, no. I had this hope that it wouldn't always be this rough, but in terms of always sharing the story as much as I am now, 7 years after,
Right.
I never thought that I would be sharing it from a place of positivity all the time, because I was
Right.
angry, I was sad,
Yeah.
I had so many questions, like, the typical question of why me, I tried to eat healthy. There was no family history, all that type of stuff. But as the months and years roll on, it gets easier to talk about it and to share details of the journey.
For me, my thoughts, I think that my body, had betrayed me so much. It was really hard.
Like when you look in the mirror now, Kadia, what do you see?
For me, I see a woman of confidence, I try to be strong. I look at myself and I see the scars, I see the bald head from chemotherapy, and it made me realize that I'm fighting a battle and I have the willpower to live, especially for my daughter and my husband. Were you always this positive?
Not at all. If it wasn't for COVID, I'd come and give you a hug right now. Because I know it's emotional talking about, especially so fresh in the journey. So I'm sending you love.
Thanks. I'm not always positive, but I try to be as, like out of 10, I break down like maybe 1 out of 10. But 9 out of 10, I try to stay as positive as possible. And especially that I have a good prognosis, it keeps me going because all my scans came back clear. So it's just really doing chemotherapy, radiation, and then maintenance for probably about 10 years. But I try to stay as positive as possible.
Just to respond to that, Kadia, even when I was going through, especially because I'm a mental health professional as a psychologist, I knew that it's not practical nor reasonable to ask anybody to always be upbeat, to always feel like, yeah, I want to testify today. So I went sometimes for 7 days without wanting to talk to anybody. Like there was real depression as a part of the chemotherapy side effects. And as a part of what was happening, it's a huge personal crisis to be going through. So I just want to encourage you, feel all the feelings. If you feel like crying, it's normal, it's human, it's healthy.
That's what I'm doing. So, chemotherapy is hard. I did major surgeries. I did a oophorectomy, hysterectomy, a nipple-sparing mastectomy, and reconstructive surgery. I did all that in one surgery. So it was, I would take the surgeries any day than the chemotherapy.
In terms of coping though, crying to me is a very natural part of it. Feeling all your feelings, no matter what they are on a given day, are part of it. But how else have you kept going?
Well, my daughter keeps me going. What I try to do is, in between the times that I'm feeling better, I try to go out and do something with the family. I have a mountain of support, and each bring different gifts of encouragement and support. But what was your support like?
So for me, my support system was largely about my mom. She's like my backbone, right? So my mom, and then my aunt, my cousin, and some friends who are like family.
Oh,
nice. And I'm really, really grateful that I had that kind of love. So
oh, that's nice.
It's October, Kadia, and there's so many women who are going through the journey right now. What words of encouragement would you share with them?
Well, I would say to them, listen, there is no I can't do it, because you have to do it. You have to practice, gratitude. You have to try and be strong and be thankful for each day, because it gets better. You just take it a day at a time and just enjoy each day as it comes. Yeah.
Sending you all the love in the world.
Yes.
And I love that part that you mentioned, Kadia, because it does get better.
Yes.
Little by little. And no matter what the prognosis is, what I found to be essential was just keeping gratitude at the center of it all.
Yes, you have to.
Even for the small things, the smallest of things, I just had this profound sense of it could be worse.
Yes.
And just holding on to that every hour, every day got me through day by day, week by week, month by month.
Yeah. Until
October 18th, God's willing, I'll be 7 years.
Wow, that's excellent. That's excellent. So what I remember I was feeling down yesterday, and I was reading something on Facebook, and this lady, she's a 40-year survivor, and I'm like, oh my God, because you know that in the back of our heads we have the what ifs, you know. What if it comes back? But I mean, seeing that 40 years survive, I'm like, oh yes, I'm going to see my grandkids. I'm going to see my daughter graduate. So I'm just holding on to hope, faith, support, and love right now. That's what keeps me going. Yeah.
And I'm expressing gratitude for you.
Yes.
I'm glad I got to meet you.
And the same for you as well.
Much love.
Thank you.
The Registrar General's Department records show that from 2010 up until 2014, there are 1,634 death certificates in Jamaica that named breast cancer as the main cause of death. But the truth is, this does not have to be a death sentence. If this is something that you're experiencing, I hope that both Kamala and Kadia's stories will help you along your journey. And if you know someone that's in the fight with breast cancer, wherever you can, reach out and assist.
Every year, hard-working, dedicated public servants are celebrated for excellence in the execution of their duties. These Civil Servants of the Year are nominated by their peers and selected by the Civil Service Week Steering Committee in the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. The request for nominations is usually sent out in September, with the selection and announcement made in late October. The prestigious awards ceremony is then held during Civil Service Week in November. The event has had its profile elevated with not just one, but 3 categories awarded, since First Heritage Cooperative Credit Union Limited (FHC) took over the role of main sponsor and organizer in 2019.
Different categories would bring different strengths. So we opened it up and we decided that to increase the participation, to get more persons being nominated, etc., we would open it up and award 3 different categories.
Acting Director of the Jamaica Information Service, JIS's Research, Print and Production Division, Celia Lindsay, is one of 3 persons selected as the 2019 Civil Servants of the Year. She was awarded for the category of Management. Customer Service Manager at the Administrator General's Department, Sophia Levy, won in the Middle Management category, while Administrative Assistant with the Jamaica Defence Force Coast Guard, Candice Daly, topped the Technical Support category.
I feel good to know that I'm appreciated, and the Civil Servant Steering Committee could have chosen me to represent for the Technical Support category.
And so really and truly to be chosen as the Civil Servant of the Year for 2019 is indeed a great honor.
Each awardee received a plaque, citation, and $200,000 cash prize. In addition, they were allocated $150,000 for a joint community project. As part of their reign, the 2019 Civil Servants of the Year upped the ante and executed 2 community charity projects instead of the usual one. The trio spearheaded the retrofitting of the Homestead Place of Safety for Girls dining area with tables and chairs in July. It made the Stony Hill facility a little more homely for the 40-plus girls living there.
The ladies are excited. They're really excited. They have owned this room. They have identified the space and have identified their own corners and have already said how they're going to be treating and taking care of it. And we really look forward to them preserving and taking care of the furniture that has been provided.
The Civil Servants of the Year raised $96,574 in cash and kind to add to the $150,000 received from First Heritage for the project. The donations came in the form of extra chairs from Carlisa Limited, tablecloth, window volances and painting courtesy of the Kingston Seventh-day Baptist Church, and tokens for the girls from the Administrator General's Department, Ministry of National Security, Jamaica Information Service and Jamaica Defence Force.
We're tremendously excited because this is a project that was earmarked, something that we've been working on, and for the team of ladies and First Heritage to come on board to collaborate with our agency to provide this for us, we're tremendously grateful.
And we're very satisfied with the project that they have selected, and we're very happy that they have chosen the Homestead Place of Safety, and we encourage them to continue the relationship that they have with this institution.
National Baptist Basic School on Greenwich Street in Kingston also felt the wave of love and caring gesture of the 2019 First Heritage Cooperative Credit Union's Civil Servant of the Year awardees. Well-needed supplies were donated to the institution, including a printer gifted by a generous citizen and $50,000 from Sagicor to purchase school desks and chairs.
We decided on this project, wanting to give back to the children. We believe in molding the minds, helping to mold the minds of young people. And so when we heard of the school in need, we jumped on the assistance.
Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited also partnered with the outstanding civil servants to gift the school with $200,000 worth of sanitizers and a desktop computer.
We are very involved in education at all levels. So over the last 6 years, we have been sponsoring various schools. We decided to partner on this project because we are very, very concerned and about, the fact of what's happening now, and we want to be a part of the solution.
Items from the Administrator General's Department were also donated, while the JIS provided Jamaican Heritage Chart and booklets for the students.
I must observe everybody who took time out, especially in this time of a pandemic, to really think about us.
I think in this time now, persons need to rally around each other, and the fact that we can go out and to contribute to a school that is in need at this time, I think will greatly impact the children and the administrators there.
Really and truly, it was quite satisfying to be able to serve our nation and our nation's children in this manner.
It has been a wonderful experience to interact with persons who I didn't know before, and we've been able to come together through this award to do something. And what is really very special is that we're also, as we contribute to the nation through our desks at the various entities, we are also now giving back to entities that are also supported by the government of Jamaica to improve on the quality of care.
The two projects at Homestead Place of Safety for Girls and the National Baptist Basic School set a model of philanthropy for future awardees to emulate.
Each person must intentionally navigate to a range of choices daily in order to make a difference and to expand the field of opportunities for themselves and others. As we purposefully engage in activities, we form lasting linkages. And over time, we expand our spheres of influence and build bridges that bring us closer and allow us to influence and transform the lives of people everywhere. To you, our kind-hearted sponsors, our colleagues, our family, our friends who've extended the reach of your arms to the recipients of the 2019 Civil Servants of the Year, we thank you.
Another day of learning with your Jamaica Magazine team ends right here, but tomorrow promises much more. Get access to this and past episodes on our YouTube channel. Also, keep up with us by visiting our website, gis.gov.jm, and following us on our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm Adrian Atkinson. See you soon.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.